Good morning. GoPro. I may or may not have put my phone in my wife's car when the hustle to get my kids off to babysitters this morning and don't have my phone, so not cool. Anyway, we're gonna keep working on this planner a little bit here today. Brock's gonna be here sometime this morning, so he's gonna work on those disc openers and washing the rest of these meters up. I have got some running around to do. I've been talking about going to get that clover seed, so I'm gonna go do that. My wife's work happens to be on the way, so I can get my phone back, so that'll be good. I've got a few other stops that need to be made, some running around to do. I'll be back hopefully later this morning, and then we can keep working on, this pump and everything else that we've got going on here. So I'm gonna leave this GoPro, and hopefully Brock will find it and know what he's supposed to do and film some stuff, and all be good when we get back. So thanks for, all right, see you in a little bit. Hey, I got my phone back. Oh, that was a rough hour or hour and a half. Anyway, we just picked up our clover seed. I got all of it in the back except for the two bags that wouldn't fit underneath the cover because it's raining more than the radar said it was going to. Whatever, it's fine. So back to the farm we go. So we are almost back to the farm. The farm is just a half mile or 3/4 mile over that way. Check it out, check it out. We are getting a new cell phone tower, which I understand most people would be like, I don't want to look at that. Why would you want a cell phone tower? Well, because we have no cell phone service here. And I am so excited about that. So, story time. Back when cell phones were new, at least as far as I remember, back in the 90s, I remember cell phones having home areas and then roaming areas, right? And so you only had a small area where you could be with your cell phone that would be considered local calls. And if you went outside that, you were roaming and you were charged huge amounts more. Well, all of those cell phone companies had a boundary at the state line for their local areas. And so we were either local in Michigan or Ohio, whichever one we chose when we signed up, or maybe we had to be Michigan, I don't know. And as soon as we went 500 feet from our house, it was considered a roaming call. Well, in order to do that, they had to know based on which tower your cell phone was connected to. And so all of the cell phone towers were designed to die, for the signal to die at the state line and not cross it. So where I am right now, which is a half a mile from our farm, I could be talking right now with my phone still to this day and have perfectly normal conversation. I drive to the farm, I drop the call every single time. I get a half mile to the north, perfectly fine, no problem whatsoever. And so the fact that they are building a cell phone tower literally less than a mile away, it's fantastic news. It means that I'm going to be able to actually have a conversation on my phone and not lose the call, and everything will be fantastic. And it might give me a really good option for internet in my house if the Starlink stuff doesn't come through or it takes too long. I don't know. I'm excited about it. It's a good thing. So, yeah, finally. And I don't even care what company is putting the tower up. I mean, I use Verizon now. If it's not a Verizon tower, I will switch to whatever company it is. So, yeah, side story, sorry. Oh, while I was gone, we got a shipment of the rest of my seed treatment chemicals that I had ordered the other day, or a couple weeks ago, because what I got sitting over there wasn't going to be enough, so I ordered some more, so that's good. And we'll get our clover seed unloaded here. All right, cool. So this is medium red clover. We're going to use it in our wheat ground. We're going to frost seed it, which means probably next week. And frost seeding simply means we're going to spread it on top of the ground. The ideal time to do so is when it gets below freezing at night, above freezing during the day. That little freeze and thaw kind of cracks the ground on the surface and works the seed down into it so that it'll then germinate and start to grow. It'll grow small and slowly through the spring here until we take the wheat crop off, at which point the shade will be gone. The wheat crop kind of shades it out, keeps it from really growing too much. And once we harvest the wheat this summer, then it'll really take off, especially if we have plenty of moisture and we get some rain. And that'll act as our cover crop. So another stop that I made on our trip. You guys will remember this project from a couple of days ago. This pump that we had that was leaking and, well, flat wore out. Look at that, holes in there. Just completely wore out. And so we were looking around and trying to decide what to do. We're going to just put a new pump on this motor. That's a really good motor, but the shaft is really pitted and corroded from some of the fertilizer that it had been pumping. So we'd have to fix that, and that makes that a little bit of a harder thing. It's still good. We can definitely use this on something, but a pump where it has to seal is probably not the best application. So decided to just buy a new pump, and we went the El Cheapo route. I went to Harbor Freight and bought one of their pumps. It was like $250. And this should be better than other ones. I've heard really good things about these, and as cheap as it is, if it works for 2 or 3 years, you throw it away and get another one. You're better off, or cheaper, I guess, than buying one that's $700-800. And yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna try this, see how well it works. I don't know, but we have 2 or 3 pumps around anyway. It is nice to have a lighter, smaller one like that one was, or kind of like this one is, that we can throw on the platform of the sprayer when we head to Berkey to pump chemicals down there or something like that. So I don't know, right or wrong, that's what I got, and we're going to try that. Okay, I'm back to working on my fertilizer pump here for the planter. I've moved this valve bank from the other side where I had it yesterday over to here. I think that's going to work better. I'm just trying to vision how all the hoses are going to route and stuff. So this is my outlet, and I'm going to come out of here. I think we're going to go up and loop it and then come down into this port or inlet on this manifold of valve block, whatever. I thought about replacing this and putting a 90 in here and coming out this way and down, but I think it'll be a smoother bend to go that way. I also had a straight one I could have put in here. That is one really nice thing about this Surefire kit. I said this the other day, but they think of everything, or at least they include everything. Like, they're not skimping on the parts that they give you, because, well, I'm going to have a whole lot of stuff left over. Like here, they give me a 90 or a straight. Use whichever one fits your application better. In this particular case, I think this 90 on a slight angle to get away from this bracket will allow me to go up and over. The only other things I've got here is a couple of hydraulic hoses that have to get hooked into these fittings, so we'll have to avoid those a little bit, but it should not be too hard to do. Yeah, so I put that on there. I'm just kind of doing that. And then on the other side here, we've got our inlet, and we have to connect that to this hose, which is sort of just hanging out there for right now. I think what I want to do there, did I take it back? I don't have it sitting here, but they also give me a 90 for this. It comes with the straight hose barb on there, but they've got one that comes out on a 90. And I want to put that on and go forward with it. So it's like right here. So I need to get a little extension piece in there. They did not give me that, but they're easy to get. Brock's here as well. He's having fun washing meters, aren't we, Brock? We're going to get him done today. Going to get him done today. That's what he says. 16 of them. He's on number 2. So good work. All right. What was I going to do yet? Oh, yeah. I'm working on securing this. So we got lots of bolts to put in there and tighten it up. Well, I got these mounted up nice and solid. I put these fittings on because the hoses, those are going to go to each section, right? So there'll be 4 rows on each one of these, and then the hoses have to get to our distribution manifolds here. So we've got 1 set of 4, 2 sets of 4, and then the other ones are on the other side, and they'll come into these elbows. So we've got to be able to run the hoses. Now, as simple as it would be, and you would think, hey, there's where we're going, or there's where we're going, there's where we're coming from, just run your hose up here and go right there, right? Well, no, because the second you fold, that's going to pull that hose apart, because the fold point is clear in there by the mainframe. So these hoses all have to go up and into the center of the planter, and then 2 of them will come back out on that inner frame, or the front frame, up to here, the part that's going to fold with it. But we're going to have to do some stuff with some routing and make sure that we're not getting anything into any pinch points. But that's why there's such a mess of wires and hoses and CCS. Yeah, all that stuff is in the center here because it has to go there to be able to fold right. See, here we're on the front side, so here is our fold pin and that pivot point. And so right here is where a lot of the hoses are coming through. Let's see. These are, let me turn the light on. So these are our old fertilizer hoses. There was only two, one for each side, but they come in. And then where does that one even go? Oh, it comes way back in there and it makes a big loop and comes around here and follows that out. So we'll probably try and follow a similar path to get there. So this one, this big hose here, is the one that goes back to the back tongue. That's the one that hooks up to the tank that I pull and where we fill from. It comes up here and then can go through my electric valve to fill this tank, or bypass straight through, gets reduced down to 1.5 inches, makes a loop, goes through our strainer, comes back through here, around the other side, back through, up and around, and that is the one that our pump is sucking out of. So this is the supply hose to our pump. So that all stays. We just have to replace this hose, and these two hoses, I believe, are for these rows in here. Yeah, so we have to do those as well. And then, yeah, we'll get to that. But like I said, I want to get stuff folded up first, and we're going to let Brock finish washing meters and keep working on some of this other stuff in the meantime. All right, well, we've got the plumbing stuff that we can do right now done. I mounted, there's a height switch that I mounted down in there. Can't see it right there. And now I think we're going to start working on some wiring, try and figure all this stuff out. Surefire does do an excellent job of labeling their wires. Pressure sensor, pump RPM, PWM, flow meter, so they're easy to figure out where they go. Look at that, they even all got caps on them. Well, two of the three have caps on them. Okay, so this is our flow meter, this is our PWM valve, pressure sensor is down here, this wire harness. What was the other one? I don't remember. Pressure, pump RPM. Pump RPM. That one's got to be on the pump somewhere. Maybe up on top? I don't know. We'll have to find it. Well, I can't find a pump RPM sensor anywhere. So maybe we don't have one. I'll have to do some reading and see. But meantime, we've got another wire harness out here. This one's got flow return, I don't know. There's a lot of plugs on there. Section, these are for all the section controls. There's got to be other stuff in there, I would think. Section 5, there's extra sections. 6, 3, yeah, I don't know. Start plugging them in. All right, well, we're going to have a lot of wires that we're going to have to figure out where they're going to bundle up and tuck up out of the way. Lots of zip ties, yeah. Okay, so this is the first one we did. Then we did our section control, or sections harnesses there. There's a couple of plugs here. I'm not sure exactly what they're for. One of them says pressure 1, and I'm wondering if this pressure sensor is supposed to plug into that harness that says pressure 1, or this harness that says pressure. I don't know. But anyway, those two then wire together into this harness. One of them connects here, one of them connects here, and this one has this plug. This plug plugs into this wire harness right there, and this one comes from John Deere. That is the wire harness for our Green Star rate controller, which is this box right here. And this will communicate with the display in the tractor on the armrest via the isobus connector that's already on the planter. So somewhere on this planter, there is another connection that I believe will plug into there, or maybe both of those, or maybe this version of it. I don't know. It appears to just be both a male and a female of the same plug. We have to find that. It's in there somewhere. I don't know where exactly. So I'm going to try and find that, because we have to find a place to mount this bracket with this box on it. Then there's some hardware and some other stuff in there, some zip ties and such for those wires. But we need to mount it close enough that wherever that connector is will reach that wire harness. Ideally, I feel like it would go somewhere close to here, maybe right on this side. but I don't know if we got room there. So I pulled this platform up between the CCS tanks here so that I could see some of these wires a little better in my crappy cleaning job. I believe that this right here is the connector that we are looking for to plug in that rate controller, which doesn't have a whole lot of reach to it. Yeah, wires right in underneath that big connector there. So we're gonna have to mount our rate controller somewhat close here. Yeah, fun. How are we gonna get in there? So Brock's over here washing meters, right? Been working on this. And remember how I say we do this for a couple of reasons. One is to clean them up so everything works right and you don't get seed treatment buildup and everything. But two, we're inspecting all the components, right? Which, by the way, are any of these been bad? Like they won't stay on there?
No, really.
Or is that one, I mean,
they all sit down pretty well after I clean them out.
Okay. Because some of them are getting stretched out there and they don't sit very well, but we can get some of those and replace them if we need to. But anyway, we're inspecting those components to make sure everything like that and seals are good and the brushes are good and these aren't cracked or missing, like we have one missing that we need to buy a new one for, that kind of stuff. Well, we finally found a problem other than the missing thing. So this, on the corn planter, we have these little knockout wheels and they attach right here to the back of the door where the vacuum seals are. So this is the seal and the plate sits flush in there. And then this little knockout wheel runs in the holes on the plate to remove any chunks of seed that get caught in them or anything like that. And this one, the wheel was sitting all funny there. Let me get it back out. Maybe. There. And look at that. It just falls right off. And so then I got to looking at this. There is a ton of wear. Look at that. Look at it. Right in here. How much wear there is on that. So this needs replaced. That makes me think the rest of them probably need replaced, but none of them have been like that, have they? No. So we'll keep an eye on it, but yeah, that's we're gonna have to address that. Oh, all right. So my John Deere salesman just dropped off some parts, and I was asking him about mounting brackets and some of this stuff on this pump that we're doing. And this is that bracket for the rate controller. He said, guys, mount them right here. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna hang it up there, which means we're gonna have to drill a couple of holes, but that's okay. And then we can mount the rate controller right to that. The connection is right down there for where our wire harness needs to run to connect into the main planter frame, harness, whatever. Yeah, that'll work really well, actually. Yeah. I'm trying to get this bracket mounted for that rate controller to mount onto. I drilled a couple of holes and got some bolts loosely in there on the front. It would be really nice to get a couple other ones, but they're very hard to get lined up because I can't drill from this side and use that as a template. I can't hold it flat to the back side to use it as a template because this is in the way. So you kind of got to measure and mark them and hope you hit the right holes. And well, I'm 2 for 2. Well, 1 for 1, I guess. The first one was easy, right? But yeah, I guess I'll try and measure and drill a couple more holes. We'll put 4 bolts in there and then we can get that mounted and start running wires and getting stuff a little bit more into its permanent location. Brock took off, but he got all of our meters washed and put back on except for the 2 right where I've been working. And we're down to just 2 more row units of openers to do, so we can get that taken care of here sometime as well. But yeah, planter is progressing. Things are moving well here, and yeah, hopefully by the middle of next week maybe we'll have it out of here. I don't think it's going to take us another full week because all we really have left to do for this pump and stuff that we're working on is the plumbing stuff, and that's just a matter of making sure everything is good so far, folding it up and everything, and then we can start running out to the row units and from the pump to each section, and that really won't take that long. A good day of plumbing, and the hydraulic hoses might take a little bit. We are going to tie into the CCS circuit. I don't know if I talked about this or not, but we need hydraulic pressure to run our hydraulic motor, right? And so you have a couple of options. Surefire would request that you run hoses all the way up to the tractor if you have an outlet on the tractor, which we do, and we could do that, but it's a long ways to go. And it's not necessary because the alternative option is to tie into the CCS fan that is right here, literally right here. And so we may tie into it here. Yeah, I'm still debating on and trying to figure out exactly where we tie into it, but that's the plan at the moment. Got it. All right, well, our bracket's mounted. It's after 5, it's Friday. I'm going home. We'd had a good week. One more thing before I go. Check out our barn. They got the siding on almost all of it. Oh, it looks fantastic. The wainscot bottom color is just a shade off, but let's assume that the old gray is faded in 20 years. But the sidewalls look fantastic. Oh, it's great. So they've got it done all the way around. They've framed in for windows. We are going to put some windows in. And obviously walk-in door there and a big door. I don't know what's going on with that one panel there, but whatever. It's no big deal. And they haven't gotten the steel for the roof yet. I hear it's coming on Tuesday next week. So they'll get it and get it in when, yeah, Tuesday. But yeah, this looks fantastic. It's awesome. South end is done. That's a big, long barn. Cool. The windows are going to be up pretty high because they're in the lighter gray material there. Above the wainscot matches how my barn is. Way down there. Wow, that's a long way to zoom. But yeah, it's going to be the same look as that. The difference is that we've got a huge amount of concrete that's going to be above grade. We are going to backfill along there some more and kind of feather that off so it won't be quite as bad. And we have got concrete to put on the inside yet, so the floor will be higher on the inside, but they are going to be sort of high up on the sidewall. But we wanted to keep the wainscot the same as the old part and not step it down. In my barn, I had them put the concrete or the wainscot 18 inches down on the concrete instead of right at the top of it like this is. So it lowered everything down a little bit, but it looks good. Well, everybody, thanks for watching this week. Thanks for getting me those 20,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. I am still working on merchandise for you. I did hear back from Farm Focus earlier this week. It turns out they have a link on their website to apply to work with them, and I missed that. So he just said, hey, fill out this link for me. And so I did that and have not heard back from him yet. Second time. So we'll follow up next week if I don't hear anything between now and then, but hopefully there's a possibility there, and I appreciate the couple of you that have reached out to them on my behalf as well. Thank you for that. But yeah, something I'm working on. Let's see what else. Next week, Monday, we're going to spread clover seed. It's supposed to get cold. I think I already told you this. I don't know. I told Brock this, but we're gonna try and get clover seed spread on Monday. And then keep working on that planter. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe we'll get it out of there. So I don't know what we're going to be working on after the corn planter is done. We got a couple other tractors that could be a little bit of attention could be given to, the 7520, 4440, but they shouldn't need much because we just don't use them that much. But yeah, we'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for me, please. Appreciate it.